Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 3882 AN. Today's date is April 13th, 2026, and the title of the episode is Trump is now deleveraging the central bank empire. He has now gained the control mechanism. Now, we all know Wall Street doesn't lose money on sell-offs. You do. They create the panic, wait for you to dump your position out of fear and scoop it up at a discount. The big banks aren't selling their gold, they're buying yours. Every time the headlines scream, regular people sell, every time regular people sell, the institutions are right there, waiting with open hands. You built portfolio insurance for a reason. Don't let a red day hand it over to the people who cause it. That's why I tell people to talk to Noble Gold Investments. They will help you build a long-term plan and, more importantly, help you stick to it when the noise gets loud. The minors' up and downs, that's weather. The long-term trend, that's climate. And the climate has been favoring gold for 5,000 years. So the next time you see a dip and you feel that knot in your stomach, ask yourself one question. Am I making this decision, or is Wall Street making it for me? Don't let them shake you out of the position you built to protect yourself. That's exactly what they want. And right now, all new qualified accounts receive a 10th ounce American Gold Eagle as a thank you. Real gold in your hands, that's the whole point. Go to X22Gold.com. That is X22Gold.com, or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private West Central Bank, the World Economic Forum, you can see they are panicking in what Trump is doing, especially with energy, because that is the key. And basically what Trump is doing right now, he's basically removing the entire deep state central bank mechanism, and he is now controlling it. And this is something they never expected to happen. They thought it was going to be protected. How were they going to protect it? They were going to use Iran to protect the entire system. And by giving them the equipment, the missiles, the money, everything that they needed, they thought, wow, no one would ever touch them. No one would even attempt to do it. And once again, you can see that Trump went in and basically took control of the entire situation. And all he really needed was the Strait of Hormuz. He doesn't need the entire country of Iran. He doesn't need all the land. He doesn't need to bring in the ground troops. That wasn't the purpose at all. The purpose was to control the energy. The purpose was to shift everything. The purpose was to take control away from the central bankers. That was the purpose. And you could see that Trump now has deleveraged the central bank empire. And now he's gained control of the mechanisms that controlled it. And there's nothing the central bank system can do about it. They will try. They will fight back. They will do whatever they possibly can. But in the end, it will completely and utterly fail, just like everything else. And think about it. As they were shifting everything to China, yes, Europe was all involved in this. All those in Congress, the presidents before Trump, they were all involved in shifting everything to China. And you can see Trump has shut that down. And now he's using the leverage against China, against the central bank. And he's taking control of the entire economic system. And yes, what are we going to see as moving into the midterms? I know Trump is out there saying, hey, the oil prices might be up, they might be down, maybe they'll be high during the midterms. Of course, we know what's going to happen. We know that the oil prices are going to drop like crazy because, once again, he has the control. And we already see that the oil prices have come down as ships started to pass through the strait. Trump has always had control of the strait. He just wanted the deep state players, the proxy army, to say enough is enough. We give. But since they didn't do it, he's showing the world who's in control. And think about what it's doing to China right now. The Kobisi letter on X put this out and said, China has massive economic exposure to the Middle East. China has spent over $269 billion on investments and construction contracts across the Middle East since 2005. Saudi Arabia is the largest recipient at $82 billion, followed by the UAE at $48 billion. And Iraq at $40 billion. Furthermore, Chinese investments in construction contracts in Iran have reached $25 billion. Meanwhile, Middle East trade with China has more than doubled since 2017 to $317 billion in 2024. That is nearly 4 times the $85 billion in trade with the U.S. in 2024. China is heavily tied to the Middle East economy. And think about what Trump is doing right now. He's severing China from the Middle East. Yes, will they have a footprint there? Yes. But you could see that everything's going to shift now, and it's all going to shift to the United States. And think about all the cheap energy that China was getting. It's no longer cheap. They were getting it from Venezuela, then they were getting it from Iran, and now their cheap manufacturing is becoming much more expensive because you have to remember they were allowing this to happen because they were shifting everything to China. Now, this has been shut down. And think about what Trump has done right now to set up the deep state players and the Ds. Because once again, they're going to be all out there saying, listen, Trump has caused the gas prices to go up. Trump is responsible for this. And they're going to try to use this as we head towards the midterms. And what's going to happen is that it's going to completely and utterly backfire on them. And I think Trump has now set them up for all of this. Because now Trump is going to use this against them. Now, think about this. We have Ro Khanna out there letting everyone know that Trump's immoral and reckless war in Iran has shot up gas prices in his district to nearly $6 a gallon. He says, stop the war, stop exporting our crude oil, and pass my windfall profits tax on big oil to give Americans a rebate for their gas bills. Well, that's a bunch of BS right there. But actually, if you look back in time, and since he's talking about $6 a gallon, if we go back a little bit in time to September 2023 in California, and Carol Markowitz put this out, when Joe Biden was president, we saw fuel regular at $7.79, extra at $7.89, and Supreme at $7.99. So once again, did they care about that back then? No, they're trying to use this talking point for the midterms. But this is going to backfire on them because I do believe what Trump has done, he has set them up. He set up the deep state, the fake news, everyone, where they're going to keep harping on the gas prices. And when the gas prices start to come down, remember, Trump was responsible for bringing the gas prices up. So when they start to drop dramatically, he's going to say, look, I just dropped them. They're much, much lower than even before. Everything that I did was absolutely worth it. And what are they going to say? He's not responsible for that, but he was responsible for raising it. He's got them, and they can't get out of this narrative. Because think about what Trump is doing right now. Trump now is shifting the entire economic system. He's deleveraging the central bank, and everything that they set up, it is now falling apart around them. They can't even stop it. And think about it. Trump opened the Strait of Hormuz. He's allowing who he wants to go in and out. And there's been hundreds of ships that have passed through the Strait of Hormuz. And the markets, did they go crazy? Did anything really happen? No. The oil price came down. The market looks like it's pretty stable. It looks like everything is going the way Trump wants it. The market shot up a little bit. Oil prices came down to $98, $97 a barrel. And we're starting to see a major shift.
Now, we all know Wall Street doesn't lose money on sell-offs. You do. They create the panic, wait for you to dump your position out of fear and scoop it up at a discount. The big banks aren't selling their gold, they're buying yours. Every time the headlines scream, regular people sell, every time regular people sell, the institutions are right there, waiting with open hands. You built portfolio insurance for a reason. Don't let a red day hand it over to the people who cause it. That's why I tell people to talk to Noble Gold Investments. They will help you build a long-term plan and, more importantly, help you stick to it when the noise gets loud. The minors' up and downs, that's weather. The long-term trend, that's climate. And the climate has been favoring gold for 5,000 years. So the next time you see a dip and you feel that knot in your stomach, ask yourself one question. Am I making this decision or is Wall Street making it for me? Don't let them shake you out of the position you built to protect yourself. That's exactly what they want. And right now, all new qualified accounts receive a 10th ounce American Gold Eagle as a thank you. Real gold in your hands, that's the whole point. Go to X22Gold.com. That is X22Gold.com, or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions.
And this will continue to happen because, once again, Trump now is basically restructuring the entire system. So when you step back and you take a look, what is Trump actually doing? Well, observing consciousness pretty much explains it and says the following. Imagine this. Trump isn't just going after shipping lanes. He's going straight to the jugular. Admiralty law, maritime law. Trump is not only targeting the city of London and its globalist financial web, he's moving to recapture the maritime layer where trade, energy, insurance, and enforcement merge into the hidden operating system of the British Empire. The Strait of Hormuz is the pressure point because control of that corridor shapes the cost of movement, the pricing of risk, and the financial architecture built downstream of global energy flow. In that sense, Iran is the visible proxy, while the real signal travels far beyond Tehran and into the transnational machinery that long governed passage through managed instability and silent extraction. When sovereign power retakes the sea gates, the old order loses one of its deepest control mechanisms, and the legal financial channels beneath commerce begin shifting back into different hands. And that's exactly what Trump and the Patriots are doing right now. They're shifting the entire system that they set up going back in time. Remember, they shifted everything from the gold standard onto the petrodollar system. Then they controlled the Earth's energy by controlling this one hub. Yes, they shut down the oil in Venezuela. Yes, they placed sanctions on Russia so they wouldn't be able to push oil out. Yes, they stopped the United States from drilling for oil. These are all protected lands. And if you look at California, you can see what they did out there. They stopped pretty much all drilling. They were actually pushing the refineries out of the state because, again, what was this all about? This was about controlling the energy. This was making sure that no other country that had oil was able to produce. Because if they're able to produce and it went onto the open market, what would happen? The prices would come dramatically down, and they didn't want that to happen. So how do you keep them up? Well, you artificially pretend that this is all we have. This is all we can pump. This is all we can do. We have hardly any supply. And this is what they've done. And now Trump now is breaking this all apart. And there's nothing they can really do to stop this. And actually what he's going to do is he's going to completely and utterly change the shipping routes across the globe, especially where different countries get their energy. And you can see already a lot of the ships now are coming to the U.S. to get the oil. And everything is about to change right now. And think about what they did going back in time. They wanted to control everything. They wanted to make sure they had control over the energy because eventually what they were going to do is they were going to move everything to China. They wanted Europe to give up everything and go green. They wanted Australia to do that, New Zealand to do that, the United States to do that. And China was going to basically have oil. They were going to have coal-fired plants. They're going to have nuclear energy. They were going to be manufacturing. And the rest of the world was not. Think about the power that China was going to have. And yes, they were already setting up the central bank digital currency in China, digital yuan. Yes, the other countries were going to also set that up. But where do you think everything was going to be controlled from? It was going to be controlled from China. This is what the deep state, the central bankers, were pretty much setting up. And now Trump is basically ripping it apart right now, and he's dismantling it. And now he's deleveraged the central bank system. He has complete and utter control in Iran right now. He has control over the oil. He has control of what ships go in and out. This is why the deep state players, the central bankers, this is why they're panicking like we've never seen before, because they never wanted this to happen. See, they're losing their control over the system. And what Trump is doing, he's building a brand new system, a system that doesn't include the central bank system, a system that works for the people, the system that is based on sound money, which is very, very different. Cheap energy, sound money. Remember, the elite, the deep state players, the central bankers, they always make it seem like we were using all the resources on earth, that we had nothing left, and we always have to sacrifice. No, that's not the case whatsoever. This is what they made you to believe. This is why they kept the climate fear going for a very long time, to make you believe that everything that happened on this planet was because of what you were doing, and you had to sacrifice every step of the way. And this is why they love their debt system. Their debt system keeps control over you. When you have a centralized debt system, the people have no chance. And this is what Trump now is breaking up and completely ripping apart. And think about it. Trump now is already stopping the flow of money leaving this country. Remember all the illegals that they brought into this country, and they would take the money and they would send it out to their own countries? Well, it looks like with the one big beautiful bill, that is coming to an end right now. Or if they're going to do this, it's going to be taxed. The Internal Revenue Service and the Department of Treasury proposed regulations regarding the new excise tax established under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act on certain remittances made abroad. Beginning January 1st, 2026, a 1% remittance transfer tax applies to remittances sent from the United States to recipients in foreign countries when the sender provides cash, a money order, a cashier's check, or other physical instrument to the remittance transfer provider. The sender is liable for the tax, and remittance transfer providers are required to collect the remittance transfer tax from the certain senders, make semi-monthly deposits, and file quarterly returns with the IRS. If the remittance transfer provider does not collect the tax from the sender, the tax becomes a liability of the remittance transfer provider. So basically, Trump is just stopping what was happening before, where they were sending the money out of this country and not keeping it in this country. So again, when you start to get taxed like this, what happens? Well, it pretty much shuts it down because they don't want to lose the funds, or some people might still do it, but I think it's going to limit what is going on right now. Eventually, what I do believe is going to happen is that I don't think we'll have to worry about any of this because, again, if you control the borders, if you control who's coming into this country, and you don't allow everyone to come in here and just come here to work and send the money off to their own country, well, that pretty much changes it up. So if you have secure borders, you get rid of the Federal Reserve, remove a lot of the amendments, get rid of the income tax, get rid of everything that was established. In the end, you really don't have to worry about this whatsoever. But you can see that at this point in time, since we're in a transition, you have to do something to stop all of this. And you have to remember, Trump is playing right now within the central bank system. We're not in a people system yet, so we still have two parallel systems running at the same time. We have a central bank system, and we have the parallel economic system. In the meantime, what Trump is doing right now, he's gaining more and more leverage for his parallel economic system. It's building, and it's getting stronger and stronger every single day. And eventually what's going to happen, it's going to overshadow the central bank system, because when you take all controls and you control the mechanisms, the central bank has no more control. And that's exactly what we're going to witness as time goes on. And you can see it's happening right in front of our faces. And soon, you're going to see the central bank panic like we've never seen before. And I do believe this is when they might try something where they say, okay, it makes no difference right now. We knew we were going to bring our own system down eventually. Trump now has control over the energy, control over tariffs. We can't stop him this way. So why don't we just down the entire system around him right before the midterms or right around the midterms? They might try to do something like this. They did this back in 2020 when they unleashed the virus onto the people of the world, and they tried to down the market. Actually, Soros let us know prior to the virus that the market was overheating and it might come down any day. And then as soon as the virus came out, all of a sudden the market started to drop. No one could understand why this was happening. But again, Trump countered that entire thing, and the market didn't come down. The market started to go back up. So once again, you can see that the deep state players, they tried once. They will try it again. But I do believe Trump has countermeasures in place. And since he has the new parallel economic system, this is going to counter what they're going to try to do, especially when you control what they used to control. If you have control of the energy, you have control of tariffs coming in, you can have control of all of it. You have the money flow, the energy, and everything else. There's nothing the deep state players can do. And if you're backing everything up with stablecoin, and you have the Clarity Act, the Genius Act, well, it's going to make it very, very difficult for the deep state, the central bankers, to win out in all of this. And this is what Trump is doing, piece by piece, what he's doing right now. He's putting all this together to battle the central bank. That's what this is all about. It's about controlling the economic future of the United States and the world. And yes, from the central bank system, yes, we have the corruption that we see. We have the Epstein Island to control the corrupt politicians. We have the money laundering, which is the moneymaker of their system. So all of this is derived from the central bank system. And that's what this is all about. It's about removing this system. And he's doing it piece by piece. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.